Today, we are talking about a heated debate on Arise TV. Presenter Oji, Dr. Ruben Abati, and Rufai tackled Sowore's explosive revelation, a private letter from President Tinubu's special advisor, the crooked Bayo Onanuga. In that letter, Onanuga, a clown, was seen to be telling Sowore to delete a post where Sowore had called the president a criminal because it is a criminal act to go to another country and say that there is zero corruption in your country and nobody has right to teach you how to interpret that kind of thing. After Tinubu claimed in Brazil that corruption is over in Nigeria, now the question is, was Sowore wrong to express and expose the letter, or was it right to make it public? Let's dive into this.
Activist Omoyele Sowore, who has been making headlines over a tweet he made on X in which he called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a criminal, revealed on Tuesday that presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga privately messaged him on WhatsApp asking him to delete the post. According to Sowore, the post was in response to Tinubu's claim in Brazil that there was no more corruption in Nigeria. Onanuga argued that Sowore had misinterpreted the president's statement, insisting that Tinubu was only referring to transparency in foreign exchange sourcing. Sowore rejected the request, stating that it was an attempt to dictate how citizens should interpret public statements and accused Onanuga of being complicit in the harassment of critics by state security services. He wrote in part, "What is more troubling is that in Nigeria today, anyone who dares to criticize the president is instantly subjected to harassment by the DSS, political thugs, and every coercive instrument the state can muster. I once thought perhaps you were unaware of such abuse, but it is now clear you are complicit. In this regard, it is you who has misfired. Your request reflects not only poor judgment, but also the mindset of the principle you represent." Well, Sowore went on to state that he has known Onanuga for decades, even during the time that his student union days, and also as a publisher. Now, take reactions to this tweet. And this is from Olaiya, who wrote, "This is classic Tinubu era. Do not criticize the king. Politics. Bayo Onanuga trying to privately police public opinion is exactly the problem. They want to control the narrative and the citizen. The truth is simple. If the president's statement was clear, Nigerians wouldn't have misinterpreted it. Leadership is not about ambiguity or hiding behind aides to explain away words, and dragging the DSS into every critic's shadow is proof of how intolerant and insecure this government has become. Instead of threatening or cajoling citizens to delete posts, Tinubu's team should focus on deleting corruption, deleting poverty, and deleting the hardship choking Nigerians daily. That's the real misfire here." Well, another ex-user wrote, "Brotherly," we know where brotherly came from, "Brotherly, good day. No well-meaning person would say you should not criticize the president or any public official for that matter. However, you can't call the president of your country, or anyone for that matter, a criminal when no court of law has pronounced such. Or are you a judge?" And that's the real question here. "We appreciate your usual courage, but we'll advise you to embrace greater objectivity and maturity. You are a role model to some youth. Be blessed." Another ex-user wrote, "And later now, you will be advocating for infringement of Nigerians' rights. Haven't you infringed on someone's right of privacy by leaking his private chat with you? You would have issued a public statement to still demand the deletion. He chose to go private and you leaked it." And the reason this ex-user is stating this is because in Omoyele Sowore's tweet there, he had leaked Bayo Onanuga's private WhatsApp chat. And that was the response from that. Here you go. He had leaked that chat, which, a lot of ex-users, and even myself, I question, why would Sowore actually leak this? Because this was a private message. But I don't even understand what happened to Bayo Onanuga. The DSS has intervened here. I mean, I know there's some sort of relationship that they might have. Sowore has insisted that he is not going to delete this tweet. Dr. Abati, I don't know why Bayo Onanuga would have thought that Sowore would even, abide by or listen to him in the first place.
Okay, both men involved are doing their job.
Yes.
Sowore is an activist. He's a resilient, confirmed activist who has even served notice that the struggle continues.
The struggle continues.
Whatever anybody says or does to him. So he has lived up to his declaration that he's a sworn enemy of convention. Or is it government? I hope I'll be right to say that. So whatever Mr. Onanuga says to him, you already know where he stands.
He's not going to respond.
By the same measure, Mr. Onanuga is doing his job. He's the vuvuzela of the administration. He's a spokesperson. So you will say, well, this thing you have said about the president is not right. The president of Nigeria is not a criminal. In other words, there's no court of law who has declared the president a criminal. And I was making the point yesterday, in parentheses, that look, people should know that while you have the right to speak, you also have the right to respect other people's integrity, their right to the dignity of the human person. You cannot just come and say Mr. X or Y is a criminal when he has not been so declared by a court of law. And that's why, the Cybercrime Act, Section 24, 1822 was cited, by the DSS. Now, in this matter, X, that's the platform, said, look, okay, the man is, we will not pull down the post. But you now find Mr. Onanuga saying, well, as a citizen, President Tinubu is not a criminal. So in both cases, I think that both men are doing their job. But what we should know within the public space is that while citizens have the right to express themselves, they also have the responsibility to respect the rights of other people.
Yes.
So that's where we strike a balance in this particular matter.
So in this first part, I'll be looking at, why Sowore may be wrong. Now, some people believe that Sowore crossed the line. The arguments are simple. It was on three things. Number one, privacy. Now, that the letter was supposed to be private, and by exposing the Sowore had broken ethics, of communication, and then also that it undermines dialogue, that instead of engaging privately, he made it public, which could encourage future candid talks between, citizens and government officials. And then number three, that, respect for office, that even if you disagree with the president, critics say calling him a criminal is disrespectful, and opposing the letter was unnecessary. But it's because we're in Nigeria, these are leaders take us for granted. So you yourself, you have to go the extra mile to ensure that you undermine, whatever it is that would have been called respect for them. But that's the angle. But let's flip the coin. Let's look at why I think Sowore was justified in all this, in spite of what, Dr. Ruben Abati might have said.
So real quickly, as regards to Sowore and what's it called, debacle.
Yes.
So, Mr. Onanuga, what the DSS is saying, they were happy on the criminal word, which I've condemned, which I've said it wasn't fine to call the president, criminal. But Mr. Onanuga was happy on the fact that, this has been said, that had been said. With due respect, yes. I don't think it was right for Sowore to have put that private message out there. And I'll say this. They have a history together. Sowore stated that in the days of the struggle, these people, they were both in the same struggle. Mr. Onanuga's paper, The News, was a platform for most of the student activists. In fact, Sowore said he did some work with The News, Mr. Onanuga platform. The reason why Mr. Onanuga probably would have messaged him is out of the fact that, okay, I know this guy before and everything.
Yes.
What Mr. Onanuga, although, was saying was different from what the DSS was saying, so it's two different things. And I don't know why this government is, happy and saying that people are contacting Sowore and saying, remove it. And if they feel very strongly about it, we can all go and test it in court.
Yes.
Really, I think that's the end. The end, look, in cinema, the end all of it will be in court. We'll go and test it in court.
Yes.
And Sowore will have to prove why he called the president names, the claim he called him a criminal. You have to provide his evidence, and the DSS will provide their counter evidence. So, but prior to that, I think since you have known this person before, you've had dealings before, even if he sent you a personal message out of what you shared, it was not necessary bringing out in publicly. But I don't even know what is even happening. There are many things that happen that we don't know in this country.
Well, in Sowore's favor, he said he cleared with Mr. Onanuga.
But Mr. Onanuga never replied. He never replied. So if he didn't reply with you and didn't give you the chance to share it publicly, then there was no point. And even at that, Dr. Abati, I mean, we are human beings. We have personal relationship before now. If we have things before, we should, we should not.
It wasn't based on the official, it was based on we have a relationship, let's reason together. That was
Sowore says the struggle continues.
That's why I was asking Bayo Onanuga, why did you think that message would help?
So now let's quickly look at Sowore's justification. And here's why Sowore was absolutely right to expose the letter. Number one, there's public interest, over privacy. This isn't just any private message. It came from a, presidential aide about silencing a citizen's opinion. That's not private. That's public matter. Sowore had a duty to reveal it. Number two is that transparency and accountability. Think about it. If the government is trying to, secretly intimidate citizens, shouldn't we know? By exposing the letter, Sowore shined a light on the hidden tactics of power. Transparency is not betrayal, it's democracy. Come on, man. We Nigerians who are calling that for Sowore's head should be ashamed of ourselves. We'll be ashamed of ourselves, because in the end, there's like, we're in the suffering and smiling situation. Things are not going right, and you can't talk. And someone is talking is a problem. Now, number three is freedom of expression is non-negotiable, especially for somebody like Sowore, where it will take revolution now. Nigeria's constitution guarantees free speech. Onanuga's request undermines that right. If Sowore had stayed quiet, it would set a dangerous precedent that the president can bully anyone into silence. And then number 4, power dynamics. Let's be real. Let's just look at this now. As me and you did now, you to think of them very well. This is not Sowore versus Onanuga as equals. This is a state versus one citizen. When the state tries to silence you, going public is a way to level the playing field, because in the end you get public opinion, you get public sympathy, and then you have a voice to fight the government. And Sowore is not somebody that can easily be bullied. Number 5, ethics of public service. Who really broke ethics here? Let's look at it. Who really messed up here? Who fuck up? A citizen exposing government intimidation, or a presidential spokesman who is getting money from the proceeds of corruption trying to censor a Nigerian's opinion? The answer is obvious. Onanuga, with his big fat stomach, his letter was the of the ethical failure, not Sowore's exposure, because this man is feeding fat from Nigerians' money, and so you cannot tell somebody who is fighting for freedom, fighting for prosperity of the people, not to talk. Then number 5 or number 6, protecting civic space. If Sowore complied, tomorrow it will be you or me. Once you allow intimidation or silence, it grows. By refusing to delete his post and exposing the pressure, Sowore defended the entire civic space for Nigerians to speak freely. Then now let's look at the bigger picture. Beyond if he was right or wrong. Now the bigger picture is this. The debate is bigger than Sowore. It's about whether Nigerians are free to call out leaders without fear. It's about whether presidential aides should spend their time defending the president's fragile ego instead of fixing the real issues. And it's about what kind of democracy we want. One where citizens are intimidated behind closed doors, or one where sunlight keeps everybody, accountable. And that is what he has done. And I conclude by saying this. At the end of the day, Sowore's move may have been uncomfortable, as many of us will see, but that's if we're in a sane world, if we're in a Western world where leaders are not as corrupt and as loose as they are, where they do things with impunity. But democracy is not about comfort; it's about truth, transparency, and freedom. That's why even Donald Trump is held accountable by citizens and even institutions like civil DSS and the rest of them, SSS rather, Secret Service. The real ethic breach was not exposing the letter; it was the attempt to muzzle a citizen, and it was a wrong citizen they went after. Sowore. Give it to me, fine to that, but not for Sowore. So I ask you, do you think Sowore was right to go public, or should he have kept the letter private? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I remain your boy, the fearless socio-political analyst, and I remain Kojex.
This is what Sowore does. He's the strong opposition. What does he say? Revolution now. Well, all right. The struggle continues. We'll follow up on the story. We'll take another.